Chicago just passed a budget the mayor won't even sign. It avoids a shutdown, but at a cost. Billions in unpaid debt, new fees hitting residents, and housing promises that may not survive the math. If you live here or you're thinking about moving here, this budget matters more than you think. Hi, for many of you that don't know me, I'm Anant Deoras, AD. Yeah, my initials, an urbanism realtor with over 13 years of experience advising buyers and sellers of Chicago residential real estate. And by the end of this video, I'll tell you why this budget quietly shifts risk onto people just like you without saying it out loud. Yes, folks, this is the Chicago budget situation. We're here in early 2026, of course. Happy New Year, right? To all of you good folks, all you good urbanists, lovers of urbanism. And as you can see right here, this article here, the mayor didn't vote for the budget, yes or no. He just abstained. And automatically, per the bylaws of the city of Chicago, the budget moves forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down several points. And what I'm going to add right here, get a little graphic here. Who really runs Chicago, right? In the past, it was a big machine. It was the Daleys, right? Both the son and the father. Richard Daley ran it with an iron fist, some people say. Towards to now, you have Brandon Johnson, and some people are saying this is the alders versus the mayor, right? You have the alders, and for a quick education here, there are 50 aldermen over 77 communities that really run each of the aldermen area like a fiefdom. They are the quote unquote king. They have what's called aldermanic privilege that they use quite often. And it's those 50 aldermen that move legislation forward or back in the city council. So you have these alders, 50 versus the mayor, right? The executive of Chicago. That's the first point I'm going to make in this video. The second one, the quiet and migrant crisis. I'm not going to define what quiet means. You have to keep watching the video to determine what that means. And then finally, of course, being a realtor, talking about 1 and 2, how does it affect you? Why should you care, right? If you're thinking about relocating to Chicago, you're already here, you've thought about moving out to the suburbs, doing the traditional relocation to the suburbs or moving out of the state. Maybe you're tired of the supposed crime and the tax structure. You're a move-up buyer. So what's that impact to you? So starting first with who runs. Now, what I'm going to add right here, if you see here, and I'm going to go full screen. Of course, let me know. Comment below in the video if you can't see this for whatever reason. This is the proposal and counter proposal. You have the proposal from the mayor and the counter proposal from the alderman. So, of course, the big one was this corporate head tax, right? Excuse me. And you can see in here, I'm going to go full screen, $33 per employee monthly for companies with 500 employees. Now, they were moving the goalposts with those employees, folks. I heard it was low as 100. I think it started at 100, and then it went to 200. Then he proposed 500. Of course, this was left off the final budget. The alders had none. I'm going to get to the selling of city debt in a second. Let's kind of go through some of these other ones. There was a ride share. I'm going to also explain that, but this is kind of just of an overview, and we'll go more detailed on a lot of these as the video progresses. But this is kind of the overview. You want to take a screenshot of that. Feel free, just for your education. Of course, again, I'm shooting this video after the budget's already passed, so I'll go through each of these items for you. So that is the list of the ideas that were done. I'm going to remove that and add myself back. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go through some of the fees that were incorporated. I'm going to kind of read off a couple. A bag tax. This is exactly what went through. You saw those list of revenue ideas. There was a 1.5 retail. Now the city already has some of the highest alcohol taxes, but there was a new 1.5% retail liquor tax. Again, bag tax, which, I should probably be smarter. For me personally, I live in the city, been here for 30 years, love my city. I always forget to bring a bag. So kind of a quick pro tip. You're moving here. You feel free to bring your own bags. Bring a couple of bags, sturdy bags with you. You're probably even big a duffel bag, okay? And you can do your shopping, because that's the awesome thing about living in the city. You don't have to buy all your stuff at once. You can go every day. It's a lot of people do. A lot of busy professionals, when they're coming home, they go to their local grocery store. Most of them live by the Jewels, which is a grocery store, Mariano's, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. Those are the four main ones. So don't pay it. Don't be dumb like me and pay the tax and keep getting the plastic bags. Bring your own bag, okay? So that tax is going from 10 to 15 cents. Ads. Let's really get into this. A little bit tacky, but ads on city infrastructure. And finally, video gambling legalization. So it's already legal on using all the apps, right? They're doing video gambling. So let's go through here. This is what actually passed. So we'll go into in a little bit more detail for you what was actually done. You can see as we kind of go through these slides. There's a shopping, right? Single-use checkout bags would rise from 10 cents to 15 cents, with 1 cent going back to the realtor. This is the second year, and it started from 7. So think about that from a percentage basis, folks. Started from 7 and went to 15. You can do the math on that. And it's been now 8 years going for that. There's a property tax for libraries. So a small property tax, let's see if they have some numbers in here, $9 million. So, I mean, obviously libraries are important. So they needed to add that back in. Here is the, let's see if I can get unfortunately, let's see if you can see. This is the retail liquor tax. I don't know why. Okay, you can see in here. Projected revenue is tied to the liquor tax and other areas of dispute and injunction. Changes we bring in. Okay, $6 million next year for the city. So we got difference of opinion. But the alder people won out. So this is, you see here, still raised one of the highest alcohol taxes in the nation, asking working families to pay nearly 12% in regressive sales tax and an affordability crisis. That's what, of course, now, this is an umbrella group called the Chicago Alcohol Tax Coalition. They have their own interests, which are probably representing a lot of businesses that sell alcohol. So obviously take that with a grain of salt, but it is what it is. That is another one of the taxes, right? Now, this sale of city debt, this is really, really interesting and is going to move into perfect segue into really two big costs that have gotten us to this point of why this city feels like it's in the world. Bear with me, folks, at the end of the video, right? There is hope, but there are two really big costs that we need to talk about. And one of them here is the sale of city debt. There is, and I'm going to have a graphic showing up there, but basically $8 billion. That's, yes, correct. $8 billion of unpaid fees that residents, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, we've all gotten city tickets and I pay them. I may have been late on a couple, right? Don't go after me. Don't at me. But I pay them. But there's $8 billion. This is just over years, right? But I believe it's swelled to like $1 billion increase in the time that Mayor Johnson has been the mayor, but it's been over 20 plus years. It's really this year over year it's accumulated. But yeah, sale of city debt. I'm going to go with, let's add this, bingo. Go full screen. Let's go into this. Debt owed to City Hall has risen $1 billion during Brandon Johnson's term, money his budget could use. And just the irony of all this is Brandon Johnson himself apparently had like 3,400 in unpaid fees, and he said he was going to pay him. Now he may have paid him, so obviously, right? If he's paid him, okay, that's great. But even the mayor, who has the means, has had unpaid fees. That's crazy. But $8 billion. And why they haven't had a collection, I know people are hurting, but there comes a point where you've got to, if they could have gotten a percentage, let's say 25% of that. Do you know what we could do, what our city could do with $2 billion? That would be amazing. But they're going to be now selling, okay? So look at this, just look at some of these stats. $810.5 million in water and sewer bills and fees, $137 million. It's at the bottom. I hope you guys can see this. Of that just this year, a 12% increase from early in Johnson's term, $1.5 billion in unpaid ambulance fees, including $148 million this year, $3.1 million in delinquent administrative hearing. I don't even know what that is, including $59 million this year, a 7% increase. And of course, all this surrounding this cloud, this budget deficit, this is why it was so critical for them to pass it. They had to pass it by the end of the year, and they did, right? But that's just the seriousness is absolutely insane. But eight billion is leading is one of the reasons, and that just gets, it's like one of those kind of kick the can down the road. And what is one of the levers that the easy way of doing it is raising taxes. And I decided to keep taxes, good urbanists, off this video because that, along with like affordable housing component, are almost like separate videos, in my opinion. But if you want me to touch base, kind of like reaching out and kind of getting your feedback, if you want me to touch on property taxes, let me know. I wouldn't necessarily be a history. I'd have to kind of think about how I would structure that type of video on Chicago property taxes. We just all got hit with a really big increase. Really felt it. I personally felt it with my condo, and a lot of people struggling. The west and south sides got hit really hard. So I have to kind of really think about, put my head around there. But if you have some ideas of content around property taxes, what you would want to know, you good folks want to know, comment below. And before we continue on, just wanted to add this on here. If you look at the bottom, where are you all good folks from? Are you from Chicago, Chicagoland? Again, I'm Anant Deoras, AD. I'm an urbanism realtor. I'm helping relocation folks. If you're thinking about relocating to the city, you're living in the suburbs, or doing the reverse, I can help selling your home. I can help you find a home. Please reach out. Towards the end of the video, I'll have a QR code that you can use to schedule time for a consultation. I'd love to help. So, but where are you from? Comment below. We'd love to hear from all you good folks are from. So, okay. Now okay, I'm going to shut that off. So that is absolutely insane. So now the other thing and the other costs, it's a little controversial, the migrant crisis, right? So 3 years ago, 4 years ago, of course, Texas kind of started busing over migrants, undocumented folks. I don't like the illegal part. I don't believe in that word. Everyone's a human, right? And obviously we got to have empathy. But the costs have been astronomical. I've got an Illinois policy now. Illinois policy is a little right-leaning, but they use a WTTW source, and I'm going to highlight it once I bring it up on the screen for you to fact check, do your own due diligence. But the numbers are just astronomical and just blew my mind. So I'm going to bring this up. So right now, I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to remove. Let me, this second component, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so if you can see here, let me just make sure. Bingo. Okay. So it's just from my Google Drive. So this is the article. Think Illinois spends millions? Wrong. It spends billions, right? This is from a June article. Feel free, if you guys want a link to this, just go ahead and comment. I can send it over to you. Excuse me. It's from the Illinois Policy Institute. I believe that's the name. But this is the stat right here. Want to make sure you guys can see this. I want to kind of focus in on this. So you can see back in 2021, okay, look at this increase. 719. Now, this is to 2024. I imagine after this year, well over $1 billion spent for housing, for healthcare, and obviously, if someone is sick, if someone has a baby, of course. But then that it's going to be the expense of taxpayers. There has to be, what the information I don't have is it says Illinois. So right, this isn't necessarily all of the city, but a city has a very large percent of that overall cost. So, federal government is going to help. That's just not going to happen with the administration political leaning is. So something is going to need to bend. We can't sustain this. So between this $8 billion, now if we got a handle of our finances and uncollected debt, well, then we would have the surplus to be able to help these unfortunate folks, these migrants, right? And maybe have a little bit left over and not have to increase taxes. You see kind of the chain reaction that started. Very unfortunate. So look through. You can see this graphic right here, 719. They have some other information here. So if you look right here, the source, I'm going to click on here. You can see in the lower left corner, that is the link, right? It looks like from a February of 2025 article of non-citizen healthcare. So that's where you can, if you want to do more fact finding, you can look at that source material. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. Hello. So it's crazy. The combination of those is just driving a lot of these costs. So what can we do and what is this impact for you, the relocation buyer, or you, the move up buyer? That is the ultimate question. So I have, these are my thoughts, right? You going to have to come into the realization you may have to, and you'd probably be surprised, you may have to rent. You're coming over here for work to be able to get a better handle of the expenses and to manage. You may have to rent. Now, keep in mind, right? You don't necessarily save money because particularly and if you're renting from, it doesn't matter if you're renting from a private landlord or an institutional, a larger management company, right? They have margins. On the institutional side, the big management, they have their straight profits. On the private, with all these homeowners getting hit with increased taxes, they have to cover their expenses. And some, God forbid, have to have a little bit of a profit. Okay. So remember, I also represent a lot of landlords, but I'm sympathetic to renters. Take your time, do your due diligence. But just keep in mind with those increasing, while you're thinking you're saving money on the rent versus buy debate, those increasing costs, the maintenance costs, property taxes, if you're renting from a private landlord, they got to get passed somewhere. They're going to be passed to you, the renter. If you're thinking about that home buying, you need to think about having enough of the reserves, having about 1% on a yearly basis for maintenance, right? Kind of tucked away. Understanding I work a lot on condos, 13 years, specializing in condos. I can help you read the HOA documents, the bylaws, making sure you're making a great decision if that's what you want to do, of course. What I'm going to do right here before we move on is I am going to add this. So if you see right here, over in the upper, I believe it'd be the upper left corner for you, you'll see it. It says scan me. Click on that. Get your phones out. I know a lot of you are watching on the YouTube TV. And if you are watching on YouTube TV, go ahead and scan that. That's going to take you to my Google Scheduler so we can schedule time to talk. Let's talk about these options. I love having these conversations, right? You want to rent, go ahead and rent. That's not my job. My job is to give you honest advice, give you options so you can make an informed decision. Now, I do want to remind everyone this is being recorded. So you're not going to see a live segment here. I'm recording this. It's going to be uploaded. You can comment, right? And actually pinned in the comment of this recorded video, I will have the scheduling link there in case you're not on your TV and you're watching it on your mobile browser, you're taking the train or whatever, going to work. I'll have that. Just give me about an hour or so. I'll get that in there for you. But that's the best way to do it. So that's for the relocation buyer. Your move-up buyers, your sellers, right? You've seen your property taxes go up. I mean, that's the reality. I would love to be able to sugarcoat it, but that's not the case, right? So I am available. Let's have a conversation. Homes are moving. Don't believe the hype, the headlines. There's a lot of crash bros. That's not happening in the city. There's still demand. There's still increasing prices every month. I'll be doing them probably tomorrow. I'll be releasing several of my neighborhood market updates. And actually my next neighborhood I'm doing is Noble Square, really hot, popular within the Westtown community. Be on the lookout for that. It's called Noble Square Urbanism Beyond the Car. That's the title. That's a little tease for you. And I'll have my Noble Square. And I'm doing all these videos, each of these neighborhoods, week over week. I'll have a market update for Noble Square, but also have in other neighborhoods. So, and the common theme is lower inventory, elevated home prices, really, really quick market times with properties going under contract, right? So that all benefits you, the move-up buyer or the first-time seller. So reach out to me. Same link, go up there in the corner. You'll see the scan me. Click on that, and let's have a conversation. So I hope you like this video. We were talking today, Chicago budget disaster, expose what you need to know. I gave you 3 points. I am Anant Deoras, AD. Any questions at all, please comment below. And again, looking forward to providing value to you through the neighborhoods. I'll be in my next video, Noble Square Urbanism. But I'd like to get a conversation going with this one here, the city. The budget's passed. You know, those property taxes are increasing. We do have what's called the TIF, tax and rental surplus of $1 billion. But do we have the right people in place? That is a question. So comment below. This could be a spicy comment section, but I'm here for it. Just everyone, please be civil. Until the next video, have a wonderful day.